friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Chandra and I make videos about reading, writing, and all things books. Today's video is about the craft books that I've read. I had someone ask me about them recently and I can't remember who, so I thought I would just make a video about it and put it out there. Number 1, Stein on Writing. This was the first craft book that I read. I actually read it about 5 years ago initially, and I was so overwhelmed by it because it was just a lot of information, and I think I'd only been writing for 5 years at that point, and it was still really rough. So I didn't know what to do with Stein on Writing. It's not that it's not a good book. It is a really good book, but I feel like you have to have some level of craft knowledge before Stein on Writing becomes really useful. Number 2, Save the Cat Writes a Novel. I liked this book as far as beginning to understand genre. If someone was to ask me about genre specifically, how to understand it, that's where I would recommend they start. At this point, I've read enough where it made sense to me and it helped me think about genre a little more clearly, but as far as specific writing advice, it wasn't that helpful for me. Number 3, Romancing the Beat. I really liked this book. The breakdown was very helpful and it clarified beats, really, as far as what does a story need in order for the reader to be satisfied. And I've actually used this for things that are not romance-based, to understand that regardless of the kind of story you are telling, there are certain points that the story has to hit in order for it to be satisfying to read. And if you are struggling to understand that, or you want to get a deeper understanding of that, Romancing the Beat, absolutely awesome for that. And it doesn't have to be romance. Number 4, Writing Deep Point of View. I really liked this one. I was struggling with determining how to structure a novel and what point of view to write from, and this book was recommended to me by Charlie Dorset. I read it really fast because it's just super helpful. And after I finished reading it, I was like, oh, I know what I have to do. I can't say enough good things about this book. If you struggle with POV like I often do, read it. I know I've read it once and I know for sure I will be reading it again. Number 5, The Art of Writing and the Gifts of Writers is by C.S. Lewis. I didn't get a whole lot out of this book except for chapters 9 and 10, which were specifically on evaluating the writing of other people. And I thought if you're wanting to write reviews, this is very helpful. This book wasn't super helpful overall for actually writing, but it was helpful for evaluating writing and the ways of thinking about that. So if this is something you're interested in, I would recommend C.S. Lewis's The Art of Writing for that. I wouldn't recommend it necessarily for writing specifically. Another book that I have read that I did not put on this list was The Elements of Style. And to be honest, I read that in 2015. So this was actually the first. I said the first was Stein on Writing. I read that in 2016, but I read The Elements of Style in 2015, and I don't remember it at all. So maybe I should give that another look. It's pretty highly rated. At the time, I really liked it, so maybe I'd go back and give that one a second look. So the books that I'm currently reading that speak to craft are Wonderbook, which was recommended to me by Glory Writes the Blues. I'm absolutely loving this. I haven't gotten that far into it, but I have found it very useful as far as world building. It's also a beautifully laid out book, and I like it because of that. I like the pictures, I like the infographics, and all of that stuff. But as far as outlining and getting ready to write, so far Wonderbook has been top tier. The second book that I am currently reading is The Anatomy of Prose, and I'm just starting to get into this, and I really am enjoying the way that it talks about writing. And basically, so far within the first couple of chapters, the theme has been, you can't do this wrong, figure out your way. Anything that talks about figuring out what works for you, I am here for. And so far, so good. Number 3, I'm rereading Stein on Writing. As I said initially when I read it, it was too much for me, but it is a good book. And I'm going back through and making more notes on it, so maybe I'll do a breakdown of that when I'm finished with it. But on the second time through, it's been a lot more clear for me. I feel like when I first started reading it, it was definitely too advanced for my skill level as far as writing goes. So I'm definitely giving it another look, and I will follow up with more information on that. But so far, those are the books that I have read and the books that I'm currently reading that speak specifically to the craft of writing. If you would like to hear more about this, definitely let me know in the comments. Let me know if there's any other books that you recommend that you've read that totally changed your writing experience. I would love to hear about them. And that's all I have for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.